Hello, hello, hello. First of all, I have to apologize because we're now almost 10 minutes late. But the problem or the reason for that is that for some reason I cannot add the promised interview guest to this Facebook Live, which is a bit of a pain. But I am trying as we speak to somehow add him, because it would be a shame if you wouldn't get a chance to talk to him or hear him at least. So bear with me for a second. I'm really sorry. I hate it when people do that when they go live and then they don't. So here we go again. Here we go. Ha ha. There he is. Kevin. So something just happened. Bear with us. I'm sure.
That's it.
There he is. Ah, sorry about that. There you are.
Evening.
You invited yourself.
Yeah, I saw the little
Like
icon and thought I'll try sending that one over, see how that goes.
Yeah, you know how it is. Women in technology.
I think we're all quite bad for that. Yeah, we're all trying to suss out Facebook Live, so yeah, no worries.
Facebook is a problem. Cool. So I'm really happy to have you with me today. Just for everyone that's watching, I met Kevin at a very, very good mindset seminar from T. Harv Eker back in September, I think. And it was an absolutely amazing seminar. So if you are into mindset things, definitely check out the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And yeah, I definitely recommend this weekend. But also, yes, I recommend talking to Kevin as well. And I just have to apologize because that's a dog in the background who decided he's been sleeping all day, but he has now decided that it's time to play with the squeaky toy. And yeah, so I met Kevin at the seminar and we've been in touch since because he's such a motivational and inspiring person. And I asked him if he would be kind enough to give us a few tips and tricks on how to set up our resolutions so they actually happen next year. But Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit first?
Okay, so firstly, it's an honour and a privilege to be coming on and speaking to a group full of fine ladies. So that's wonderful. It's nice to be here. So yes, I have a business called SWL Training Limited, which is actually to the lifting industry. That's my primary thing. Excuse me. However, I'm also an NLP practitioner, and with that, I help people often set goals. You know, when you get talking to people and you find that they're having problems, many different problems, it can often be put down to they've got nothing to pull them in the better direction. So I use NLP to assist people in setting goals, which often kind of sorts of a lot of the negative problems out. I do a little bit of motivational speaking, and I pull from my background. I was in the military, I was in the army for a few years, going back quite a long time ago, and I regularly compete with Taekwondo. So those things and the business as well, they certainly help with ensuring that I keep the mindset topped up in the right place. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to perform, certainly with business or Taekwondo, quite as well as what I would like to. So that's what I'm all about. And
Okay,
yes, if I can help and add value, then I'd be very pleased to.
Cool. And you mentioned the NLP practitioner, so the neuro-linguistic programming. Do you want to talk a bit more about that in case some people don't know what an NLP practitioner is and what they do?
Yeah, so NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, quite simply, if we put it simply, and these are really in the words of Richard Bandler, who is the co-creator of NLP back in the 70s. He created NLP with a chap called John Grinder. But essentially, it's about helping people think more smartly, as Richard Bandler would put it. And it seems a little bit, sometimes when Richard Bandler is talking about these things, it can seem a little bit controversial. However, he refers to things as being either smart thinking or stupid thinking. And that doesn't mean to say that you're stupid, but quite simply that anything that's smart thinking is a way of thinking that's going to help you go forward and achieve the things that you want to in life. And stupid thinking is really something that's going to hold you back. So things like phobias that you perhaps developed, that kind of thing. So NLP it's not this kind of psychotherapy thing where you could spend a lot of time going into the root of your problems and all the rest of it, and sometimes exacerbating it and taking a long time to deal with things. It's about making those things that are holding you back quite simply less significant, so you can clear them and start thinking in a way which is much more conducive to you being happy and healthy. And as Richard Bandler puts it, when you start thinking in that way, how much pleasure can you handle?
Yeah. That definitely sounds great, because this group was also formed on that very foundation, because I found that a lot of the struggles we think we have, they come from our minds. So everything around solving mindset issues or self-limiting beliefs that we have is just such a great idea. And I think we haven't seen the end of that whole movement yet, and I think that there's still so much out there, and it's just about promoting getting the right mindset and so on. So thank you very much for explaining that. But now what we're all here to hear about, what can we do to make our resolutions actually happen this year? Because it's the 30th of December today, so the very last day of 2017 tomorrow. So everyone will start tomorrow doing new resolutions and have all these plans in place. But then usually by the second week in January, we all begin to crumble and it all goes wrong. So what can we do to make this year different?
Okay, so just touching on a point you made a moment ago as well about how, it's important with this mindset thing. It's even more in the modern day. We've got so many more things acting upon us. And of course, the difficulties can be different from, males to females. Although, I think as much as I can, I have a reasonable understanding of the maybe different types of problems, but there's lots of different things acting upon us. So it's all the more important to start trying to think a little bit more clearly and a little bit more focused on going towards actually what you want to achieve in life. And when you get talking to people and you ask them what it is they want, and I think that this is probably more relevant to women, because you can often be pulled by, looking after the kids, looking after your husband, your boyfriend, your partner, whatever, and you get your attention dragged away from you, and then that's where you start getting this void that fills up. And then it gets filled with negative emotions. I call it the motivation void, when you don't have this positive motivation that's pulling you towards something that you want to achieve. So where we're coming to the turn of the year, it's the ideal time to just sit down, take a bit of time for yourself, and sort out some real healthy, call them resolutions, goals, whatever. The term resolution seems to get attached, and I think that's where people go, yeah, I'm a New Year resolution, and that lasts January if you're lucky. So set some goals for 2018. So I've got a few points for you that maybe you could note down, and just take some time, take 15, 20 minutes to think about how you can form some goals in line with this. So the first thing then, the first key point, is it's got to be something that you want. Now, like I say, it's so easy to be dragged away by the wants of other people. And, I've spoken to women, particularly a family member recently, and I asked her what it is that she wanted. And she says, I want to make other people happy. I want to make sure the kids are happy. That's fine, but they're going to get to a certain point where they're going to be able to suss out themselves what makes them happy, and, they're going to be responsible for that. It's really important that you think of something that you want to achieve. Now, it may be that family happiness is one of those, but what things can you do for yourself that's a vehicle to that? And I always believe now, certainly when we've got busy lives going on with work, we've got two key areas of life. We've got work and we've got family. And both of those are areas of high responsibility. They come with pressure. Whether you love it, whether you love your job, whether you love your family, whatever, they are areas of responsibility. So I feel it's always important to introduce a third area, a hobby or something, where performance is absolutely optional. You can perform at that at whatever level you want. And that allows an outlet of the pressure from the two areas of responsibility. And then actually, if you start performing at that at a high level, it feeds back into the areas of responsibility and actually ups the game there. So think about something that you want, whatever that may be. So the second point, it must be a positive target. So many people set the goals based on moving away from something. Common one, of course, lose weight. Many people want to lose weight. So you're moving away from something. But what is the actual outcome there? What is losing weight a vehicle to? Because I can tell you, and I'm sure that many listening have experienced this before, you think, yeah, I'll lose weight, and then it doesn't really take you anywhere. You might lose a bit of weight, but it goes back on. So what is it you want to lose weight for? Think of the end game. So I want to become fitter. I want to become a faster runner. I want to look better, which, many people seem to have difficulty with this thing of actually wanting to look better for themselves. Yeah. You know what? It's not vanity. It's taking care of yourself. It's just a little bit of pride and self-worth. That's all looking well is. So, just think of a positive target rather than the kind of away from of losing weight, stopping smoking. Stopping smoking, it's a vehicle to feeling healthier. So that's the third point then, it must be sustainable. Classic example of this, crash diets. They'll all be coming out and you'll get the celebrity DVDs and all these new diets that if you just eat cabbage, then you're going to lose loads of weight, which may well be right. But how are you going to keep that up? Are you going to carry on eating cabbage for the rest of the year? Are you going to keep doing these fair enough, celebrity workouts, fine, if it's sustainable, but it's the diets. And people rely upon those diets. And you can't just keep losing 1 stone every month or whatever. Fine, if you've got quite a few stones to get rid of, that might be sustainable. But you need to set a target because at some point your diet will have to change to then just be consistent. So think about something that's sustainable, something that you can keep up. I mean, going back about 3 years ago now, I shifted about 3-4 stone in the space of 3 to 4 months, which was obviously getting rid of it quickly. But then I balanced the diet out a bit and understood that I had to level that off and ensure my calorie intake met how much exercise I was doing. So think about something that's sustainable. Another one is within your control. So the fourth point, make sure it's within your control. People may say, yeah, my goal for 2018 is I'm going to win the lottery. Right, okay. How are you going to sort that one out then? It's definitely not within your control. Another one as well that many people will do and say, and it's with great intention, is I want to make my husband happy. I want to make my wife happy. I want to make my kids happy. As I said earlier, other people's feelings are not your responsibility. You cannot control how somebody responds to the way that you are. You can give yourself the best opportunity. So if you think, okay, there's bits of me that if I change and I improve, that increases the chance of that happening. So that's your goal. Do that, but don't get attached to the outcome and how other people respond to it, because then we start getting, we're living and feeding off of their emotions, and we're getting annoyed because they're not responding the way that we want them to. So that's not in your control. How you do it and, the things that you do within yourself are within your control. It must be measurable. So that's the fifth point. So make sure something is measurable. So often we say, I'm going to drink less, or again, I'm going to lose weight. So how does that look? How do you know that you've got there? How do you know you're on track? So be realistic about it. If you set yourself this massive goal, you might be well overweight and you want to lose 5 stone. Brilliant, life-changing stuff. But you've got to think about over what time period. And so what's my target per month? I'm going to lose 0.5 stone per month. So then you can measure it, you can track it. Well, you know, I didn't do so well this month, so maybe I'll catch up next month, that kind of thing. And you can see how well you're getting on. So make sure it's measurable. If you're going to drink less, what are you cutting down to? You're cutting down from a bottle of wine a night, what's been there, you know, lovely and all that, but not particularly healthy. So you're going to cut down initially to a glass of wine a night within the first 3 months. And then maybe within the next 3 months after that, you're going to just go to a bottle of wine over the weekend and have nothing during the week. So make sure it's measurable. And then the last point, which is really important, and only after you've sorted out the other ones, make sure you decide, you commit, and you remain adaptable. Everything starts from a decision. Everything starts from a thought, then you attach a feeling to that thought, and then you take action. So you must decide, okay, I've looked at this, yes, I'm going to do it, I now commit to it, and also really, really important, remain adaptable. Because you set this and it's not going to remain in stone. You're going to have things happen. You're going to have times where you're off track. You're going to have times where you're fed up. The last thing you want to do is beat yourself up that you didn't quite get where you wanted to be this month. And then you go, oh, that's it, give up. No, you just go, right, didn't quite get where it was. Let's not spend any more time wasted, you know, looking at the downside. Let's just get back on it and then meet the target next month and be adaptable. Because life will happen. So there we go, just summarize on those. It must be something that you want, it must be a positive target, it must be sustainable, within your control, measurable, and then just decide and take action and be adaptable.
Cool. Now thank you very much for giving that insight, and it all makes total sense. And just looking back on my personal resolutions that I had in the past, it's just so clear why they didn't happen and why it didn't work. Just one question, because a friend of mine this year or for next year has the resolution to become more confident, which is probably in your perspective quite a vague resolution. How would you help her make it more realistic or make it happen? Because I guess making it measurable might be a bit tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I think being confident is a result of something. You know, it's a consequence. So to want confidence, that's great, but there will be things that bring the confidence. Mm-hmm. So usually, quite simply, that's getting meaningful stuff done. When you don't do stuff that is really in line with your values, your purpose, then you feel a bit down. You might not be able to put your finger on it, but when you're not really living out what you're here for and what, you know, your values, you feel a bit down. So that's where goal setting is all the more important, you know, and those goals are aligned with what you want. Because when you start taking those little steps on the road to achieving the bigger picture, the bigger goal, you start thinking, hey, you know what? When I put my mind to it, I get stuff done. And that's what brings confidence. So it's one thing, there are other elements, of course, but I would certainly start with sort out the goals, get them set, stick to them. You'll start to feel better and more fulfilled and more full of, if I put my mind to something, I can do it.
Yeah, cool. So probably just do a bit more things that scare her or scare you in a way, because then every time you do it, it becomes a bit easier. And then at the end, I totally agree with you, because being confident is a bit of a tricky one, because it's a result, as you say. So I completely agree. So one question, do you have got any resolutions for 2018?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've got resolutions for 2018. So I've got business resolutions or business goals. I just released the first physical product within my business, which was mainly more time for money. In the past, there will still be a lot of time for money, but I aim to release an ebook within the first couple of months, and also start getting some online training, which is, you know, more about my creative side, bringing that to fruition. And then I don't need to stand there and give so much time for it. So I've got those goals within the business. I've got my Taekwondo goals. So I compete regularly with Taekwondo, but I'm going for black belt next year. So that's certainly a goal, to make sure that I become a black belt. And then beyond that, where I can still compete at a good level and ideally win competitions, which is not entirely within my control, but what I can do is best prepare myself, that I go in there and cause some bother, and give myself the best chance of winning competitions as a black belt. I've also got the World Championships just before that, so that'll be my last major competition as a colour belt, and I aim to win gold for the second time at the World Championships. So there's those things. Yeah, I've got a list of them. So yeah, a number of things. NLP Master Practitioner as well. If I can fit that into my schedule. So yes, do more motivational speaking. I aim to start setting my own events up. So yes, I've certainly got goals. Yeah, it's really important to have them.
Exciting. Have you got any plans for New Year's? How are you going to get into the new year?
I'm not sure yet. Well, I'll be with my children tomorrow, do something with them, and I may spend it with, my nephew or whatever. He's on his own tomorrow night, so I may spend it with my nephew tomorrow night. Or I've not got any particular plans, really. Just see how it goes, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. No, that sounds all very good. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'm sure there were a lot of tips for everyone. And tell me, how can they find, or tell everyone, how can they find out more about you, or how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so, well, actually, this is another one of my goals for 2018, to be more active on my blog, which I set up last year. Done a couple of posts, and because I've been busy with other things, didn't focus any more attention to it. But I do have a blog, which is just kevinbennison.com. And you can find me, of course, on Facebook, not just my personal profile, but I've got my own page, which is motivational stuff, which is just Kevin Bennison as well. Yeah. And of course, I've got
just post the links in the comments later.
Yes, lovely. So they're the main two ways. Yeah, just my blog, kevinbennison.com, and my Facebook page.
Cool. Exciting. I'm just checking if there are any questions, because we have got quite a few viewers. I can't see. Are there any questions, ladies? Anyone? Not that I can see, but I might not. Oh, we got a heart. Thank you for the heart. I don't think I can see any comments. So if there are any questions, I will make sure Kevin hears them, and he'll answer them, of course. So thank you very much, Kevin. And I wish you all the best for 2018 and a good start to the year.
Yep, thank you very much for having me on. Happy New Year when it comes to you, and to everybody watching. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. All the best.
Thank you.